Thanks, Goose. Developer Turn 10's Forza Motorsport series has actually turned 10 this year, and with that 10th anniversary comes the 8th game in the series, called Forza 6.
Why do we race? Is it to prove how fast we are? How far we can go? There is no simple answer to why we race. There is only the fact that we always will.
While last year's spin-off Forza Horizon 2 was great, the main series has had a bit of catching up to do since Forza 5, which was filled with way too many microtransactions and not enough tracks.
Yes, and now there is some stiff competition as well, with the likes of Project Cars vying for pole position. But Forza has brought its A game, and dare I say it, Hex, this is the best Forza has ever been.
Yes, the wicked microtransactions are no more.
Praise Gaben.
But there are well over 400 cars which span the automotive world, all of which can be ogled over in Auto Vista mode, plus plenty of new tracks and, most importantly, the overdue but very welcome addition of night racing and rain.
And it's good rain too. You know, so often in racing games where there's a bit of rain, you're like, okay, yeah, it's a bit slippy, it's not bad. But with this, Hex, those puddles, they will mess you up.
Yeah, do not underestimate the danger of puddles. Go into one with one side of your wheels and it will probably spin you out. Or if you hit a big one at speed, then you're going to experience the joys of hydroplaning, which often involves a lot of spinning.
I like that you can occasionally use a puddle to your advantage though. If they're sitting just on the corner at the right spot, they can help you steer through the turn. And those rain effects, Hex. I'm not usually a fan of cockpit view in racing games, but those raindrops were just mesmerizing.
Some of the best rain effects out there for sure. How did you feel about the fact that it wasn't dynamic weather or time of day though? I mean, everything is baked in, so it never goes from a sunny day to a rainy one, or from day to night. And there's certainly no night rain.
Yeah, it would have been great to see puddles grow dry, or maybe the sun set as you race, and Project Cars did an incredible job with dynamic weather. But it's not a big deal. The weather effects work so well, and I'm not a big fan of races that will go on long enough that I'd actually be able to notice the changes anyway. But it is a bit of a shame that only a fraction of the tracks have night and rain variations.
Yeah, I was surprised there weren't more to choose from. It's understandable that it doesn't rain much in Abu Dhabi, so no rainy option there makes sense. Or the fact that night racing isn't actually allowed at Laguna Seca, so obviously it's not available in the game. But still, why not give us the options for the new Rio track? I'm pretty sure it rains in Rio.
And I'm pretty sure they have night there as well.
We should check our facts on that, but I think you might be right.
As it is though, the night and rain does add a huge amount of variety, so perhaps we are just being a bit greedy. Even after a full day of playing, I don't think I ever raced the exact track in the same conditions twice. Which was not the case with Forza 5, because after a day with that game, I kind of felt like I'd played everything and was ready to put it away.
But what did you think of the layout of this campaign?
Well, it's interesting. They've gone for a more curated approach to the campaign this time, with the stories of motorsport making up most of it.
Now, let's drive some cars built purely for racing.
Yeah, and it's basically split up over 5 different series that work their way up from street races through to ever more powerful cars until you get to ultimate racing.
And Hex, I'm not much of a fan of being stuck with slow cars for hours and hours and hours. I just want to get in there and race with the cars I like. And racing games have been moving away from that kind of campaign structure in recent years too. But I did warm to it here because they've done it quite well by letting you pick from a broad range of cars for each series. And each series doesn't take that long to complete, so you do get to play with some pretty fast cars quickly.
Yeah, and they make sure that you get to play with a lot of different cars quite regularly too. One way they've done this is with their showcase events, which you'll regularly unlock as you play the campaign and jump into at the press of a button. These events are basically special races with preset cars that cover all sorts of things. So one might put you in an IndyCar race or have you face off against the Stig's virtual cousin.
We have the next best thing. No, it's not the Stig. It's the Stig's digital cousin.
Or even have you do a bit of automotive bowling, to name a few.
I liked some of those events more than others. I have developed a new dislike for autocross, for example, which just feels like you're in a big driving test. You can completely ignore them if you want to, and it's good there's so much unlocked from the start, so you can jump in and have a go if you want to try something different.
One thing that's great to see is that they're a lot more generous now with rewards and unlocks. I mean, remember Forza 5 was so stingy they had to patch it?
How can I forget?
And although the credit payout per race isn't much higher here, every time your driver levels up, you get a prize spin, which can instantly net you bucket loads of credits or an expensive car.
Yes, you definitely won't be lacking in cars or cash for long. Another thing they've added in this time are mods. You'll have to buy packs of these with your in-game credits, or win them from prize spins, and they give you a bunch of cards you can use during a race.
There are 3 types of cards. Single-use bonuses can offer a range of perks like putting you higher up in the starting grid or turning off collisions for a lap. There are also crew bonuses, which give a small performance increase, while dare cards will hinder you in some way but can give you extra rewards.
I thought these were an odd addition for a sim racer. And I know Forza, in the realm of sim racers, leans a bit more to the casual and accessible side of things. And that's not a criticism, it's a good thing. But it just makes it more into that realm, I think.
Yeah, they are completely optional though, so if you don't like them, then just don't use them. And Forza has always offered a great spectrum of assists and AI difficulty options, so you can cater it to just the right level of challenge for you. I think the mods are just an extra part of that toolkit.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of AI, Drivatar is back, and that name will never not be stupid. If you don't know what Drivatar is, it's a cloud-based learning AI which takes the digital essence of your driving behaviour. And now that they've upped the car count to 24 cars on the track, that technology has made races scrappier and more unpredictable than ever. I love it. And the sound effects are as top-notch as ever, so when you've got 24 of those cars sitting in a grid revving their engines, whoa!
And it's always satisfying watching everyone barge into each other on the first corner or seeing an AI just completely mess up a turn. I mean, part of you just knows that AI learnt that from its master.
Yeah, it does create AI that feels really human. They try to sideswipe you and block you or crash into each other just like real human jerks do. Speaking of real human jerks, Forza continues to shine in multiplayer. Online play is smooth, and its ever-growing community of painters and modders out there give you access to some great paint jobs and car setups for any situation.
And split screen is back too, which is awesome to see. But we should wrap this up, Barjo. Final thoughts?
Well, it's righted the wrongs of Forza 5, and this is a great iteration on a formula that was already pretty good, plus puddles, so I'm giving it 4.5 stars.
It's 4 from me.